Welcome back to Nostalgianomics and an episode of Pokemon Investing Conspiracy Theories, where we're going to take a look at all the conspiracies around the hobby, and I'm going to let you know if they are absolutely valid or complete nonsense. But there is one that I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt is 100% accurate, and that one is the Cabal is out there, and they are actively planning the demise of your modern sealed investments. That one's true. All right, let's jump into it. First up, conspiracy theory number one. The first print run, the first printing, has better pull rates than any of the reprints thereafter. Now, this is one that I've struggled with over the years, that I've went back and forth on, that I haven't believed in the past. And I will tell you, after being a streamer and opening packs as much as I have with multiple different products from multiple different eras, multiple different print runs, I can tell you this is 100% valid. 100% valid. The first print run is seeded with higher hit rates. If you find first print run boxes of the Sword and Shield alt art sets, you're going to pull a whole lot more alt arts, right? If you find first print runs of things like the 151 UPCs and the 151 products, you're going to pull more God packs and more SIRs per product. And I have seen this time and time again, whether it be with, any booster boxes, ETBs, UPCs, like the Charizard UPCs. Those were seeded with much better hit rates than the reprint Charizard UPCs. And the list goes on and on and on. The unfortunate thing, you can't always tell which ones were reprints unless they're really in the case. Because the cases will actually show at the bottom, it'll say not for sale until the release date, which whatever date that is. And the reprints won't have that line on there because obviously it's already been released. And so that's how you can tell if you have sealed cases, if they're a first print, second print, or more. But unfortunately, a lot of the loose boxes and loose products, it's near impossible to tell. Some people say they can tell by the size of the Pokeballs on some of the sets because they changed them, or other little differences. But for the most part, it's near impossible to tell on booster boxes, ETBs, UPCs, if it's a first print or a second print if they're outside of the sealed case. But I will say, if you're looking to pull better cards more often, you do want to buy the products that are first printed because you will pull better hits. Most notably, Crown Zenith. I opened a lot of Crown Zenith product on the channel, and we used to get tons of ETBs that had 2 and 3 full art Galarian Galleries, pulled tons of that Pikachu Secret Rare, used to pull tons of gold cards, the Giratina, Arceus, Dialga, Palkia, and since I've been opening the reprint ones, we've pulled little to no gold cards. It's almost always been just 1 full art Galarian Gallery per ETB, per 10 packs, and the batching has been a lot worse, which gets us in to conspiracy theory number 2. Number 1, we're giving valid. I am giving 100% validity to the hit rates, the pull rates are better in the first print. All right, conspiracy theory number 2 is, are some products better than opening other products in terms of pulling better hits? And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, this is complete nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Now, people always ask me why I open booster boxes on my channel for the most part on all mainline sets. The reason is you can have more guaranteed hit rates in a booster box product. And I'll explain why, okay? A booster box has 36 packs, right? They're going to put a certain amount of hits in there, whether it be between 12 to, let's say, 15 hits. Every box is going to have between 12 to 15 hits. You don't know what hits they're going to be, right? You don't know if an SIR is going to be in every box, whatever it may be, but you're going to get a certain amount of hits per box, okay? Take that same 36 packs. Let's take collection boxes, right? Most collection boxes come with 4 booster packs, okay? And they come in cases of 6. So 4 packs times 6 collection boxes is 24, right? Everyone's opened booster boxes before, and they've had a lot of hits at the front, a lot of hits at the back, maybe a lot of hits in the middle. They're not always, they're not mapped out like some Yu-Gi-Oh boxes are. It's not like, dud pack, hit, dud pack, hit. It doesn't work like that. You can have the first half of the box, and you can get like, 10 hits, and the second half only get 2. This is the issue with the batching in Pokemon and why other products can seem to have worse or better hit rates. So, going back to the collection boxes, right? So those first 24 packs off the printing machine, they get seeded in those collection boxes. But wait, the 12 packs that would have filled out the rest of a booster box, those get moved to the next collection box case. So, if those 12 packs had much better hits than the first 24 packs, well, the person who got that first case, they're not going to be too happy. They're going to say collection boxes suck. The people who got the second collection box case, right, they're getting those 12 packs, and they're getting 12 packs from a new box. Well, let's say those next 12 packs are higher hit rates too. They're going to get that product, and they're going to post it all over social media, and they're going to show all the hits they got, and they're going to talk about how much better of a product this is than opening a booster box, and it's going to get tons of publicity, and everyone's going to believe it. And the same thing can happen with booster bundles, and UPCs, and ETBs, blisters, whatever it may be. When in fact, the hit rates are still coming off the machine and the same on every product. It's just the batching issue that Pokemon has because they don't map out their packs and have a hit every 3 packs or whatever. The way the products are packaged, whether it be 4 packs, 6 packs, 10 packs, you know, whatever it may be, it can allow people to get very lucky or very unlucky. And the very unlucky people get upset and just say, I'm not buying that anymore. The very lucky people, they're the ones that post it all over social media and they're really excited. So it gives this unrealistic view that the product's actually better when in fact they just got lucky. And the best way to describe this is, Pokemon opening packs is already a gamble, right? It's like walking into a casino, sitting down at a blackjack table and placing a bet, right? It's already a gamble. The casino has a slight edge, but not much. But then you decide to play one of the side bets. Oh, I'm going to play the 3-card poker bet. I'm going to play the in-between bet. That's where the casino really ups their odds, because they're also referred to as sucker bets, because the odds of those are much less than the original blackjack hand. So you're taking a secondary gamble. And if it pays off big. But most of the people it doesn't pay off for, and they lose out worse. Well, same thing with Pokemon packs. You're already taking a gamble opening packs. You're taking a secondary gamble buying ancillary products that aren't in booster boxes, because you're taking a secondary gamble that the batch you got is going to be stronger than the batch in the other products like that, the other bundles, the other blisters, the other, you know, collection boxes and tins and whatever it may be. And you may get lucky sometimes and beat the odds of a booster box, but if you do it enough times, it's probably going to end up sort of similar, and you are going to go through those boxes and tins and other items where you get absolutely shafted and get crushed. Whereas you're never going to open a booster box and get crushed, right? You're going to have worse ones and better ones, but you're always going to get within the same amount of hits, right? And so this conspiracy theory is absolute nonsense. The packs come off the line. They all have a certain amount of hits. They just get seeded into products differently, which gives that perception. All right, conspiracy theory number 3. Population control with PSA grading and other grading companies as well. So, there's a conspiracy theory amongst the card graders and the people who collect slabs, you know, graded cards, that the earlier, higher dollar vintage, mid-era cards, you know, trophy cards, whatever else, the creme de la creme of the hobby are being discriminated against and not given PSA 10s even when they're worthy. And I gotta tell you, this is obviously one that can never be proven unless you literally get someone from PSA on camera or on, you know, audio actually admitting to it. So we can't actually prove it. PSA, BGS, CGC, all the other grading companies, don't sue me. I'm not saying you do this. But there's a lot of people that agree about this. And there's also very good examples out there where you can see a lot of the vintage, mid-era, high-dollar cards that are graded now that come back as PSA 9s. They look better than most of the PSA 10s that came before it, back when the cert numbers were 2s, 3s, 4s, and so on. And some people speculate to say, well, yeah, PSA upped their grading standards around, you know, sometime, and so that's why it's harder to get those grades now. But you can even hold some of these vintage cards next to modern cards that got 10s, and the vintage cards actually still look cleaner than the modern cards, and they still got 9s. Which brings about the conspiracy that PSA is trying to protect those that do hold those high-dollar cards. They don't want the population to go up. They want them to remain scarce. They want to hold their values, which keeps those people becoming customers and grading more and more and more, and also keeps the people who have graded with them and hold those cards happy because their cards hold value and stay scarce and rare and all that good stuff. And so, unfortunately, this is one that I can't give a guaranteed nonsense or a guaranteed valid to, but I am like 99% on the valid side. That's where I lean personally. Can't be proven. until maybe one day we get someone from PSA actually come out and whistle blow and admit it. But it does seem that it is much harder these days to get a PSA 10 with those older cards. Now, some of the critics will say, well, Alex, obviously as time goes on, there's less and less and less PSA Gem Mint 10 copies out there in existence raw still. And so it makes sense that as time goes on, you see less and less and less of those 10s graded per year. It also gets more risky. The cards are more expensive. A lot of them already been graded, whatever you want to say. And so I understand that side of things too, and that plays into it. But again, there's too many examples out there where the 9s look so much cleaner than the old PSA 10s. They look cleaner than some of the modern PSA 10s that were graded at the same exact time. And it does seem there's something going on there, but I'll leave that up to everyone else's imagination. You feel free to let me know in the comments if you think PSA controlling the population reports is a thing. Next up is going to be another grading conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory number 4. PSA grades harder in the New Jersey office than the California office. This is one I 100% believe in. I'm still compiling data, not just for myself, but others. I've graded thousands of cards in my life, okay? I have a very consistent ratio of a gem rate, how many PSA 10s I get, right? Nothing's changed in my pre-grading. Nothing's changed in the kind of cards I send. I send Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, XY cards. And all of my California orders that stayed in California and got graded there all have similar gem rates. And every order that got rerouted to New Jersey, every single one has much lower gem rates. So I started to ask other people about this, and other people have sent me all their PSA orders and showing me how all the ones that went to New Jersey somehow have lower gem rates. Which brings about the conspiracy theory that if you are unlucky enough that your cards get rerouted to New Jersey, which up until now, I don't know if there's a way to stop that. I don't think it matters about where you live in the country. If you're in the middle like I am, East Coast, West Coast, it seems they just like kind of reroute whatever they see fit. If you're unlucky enough to get to New Jersey, you have a much harder time actually getting your cards graded fairly. And this can be for a few reasons, right? Maybe they hired all new people in the New Jersey office and they were trained differently and they were trained to spot, centering issues or whiting issues or scratching and things and grade them more harshly than a lot of the people who may have been working a lot longer in, the California office who have been through the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 certs and now they're in the 9 certs and they're still grading like they used to because, they're OGs at this point, they know what they're doing. And so maybe the newer graders have been trained to grade harsher, and that's one of the reasons, which seems completely legitimate and logical to me. And so I'm still in the process of continuing to acquire data. If you guys want to reach out, you have similar experiences, send me the proof through Instagram, Nostalgianomics, or Discord at Nostalgianomics, nostalgianomics@gmail.com, because I want to compile enough evidence of this. And if it's happened to enough people, and it's literally always a worse grading experience at New Jersey than California, I think it's something that really needs to be discussed and shouted out as much as we can, because that's really messed up. It really, one, it costs people money, right? It costs people's businesses a lot of stress and going through a lot of either cracking and resubmitting or taking losses, taking break evens and having to continue to spin your wheels with all this work for no money. And so it is something that kind of needs to be discussed, and the more info we put out there, maybe the more PSA will start to look into it and say, hey, maybe we did screw up, But that is conspiracy theory number 4, and I do think that is valid up to this point with the amount of evidence we have. Obviously, we can't prove it. Again, don't sue me, PSA. But all the evidence does point that direction right now is what I will say. Conspiracy theory number 5. We're almost there, guys. I got a couple more. Conspiracy theory number 5 is that Pokemon is creating artificial scarcity on purpose. Now, a lot of people are seeing items sell out immediately on the Pokemon Center. And they're items such as booster boxes that are being listed for $161 when they're everywhere else for $100. They're on eBay for $100. They're on TCG Player for $100. Local LGSs probably have them for less. Amazon has them for less. Anywhere you look, any independent LGS website, you can find the boxes for far less than Pokemon Center. And so the critics of this conspiracy theory and say it's nonsense will say there's just enough people out there that are uneducated customers and the only thing they know to do is go to Pokemon Center. The reason I don't believe that is I didn't even know about Pokemon Center, and most people don't either until they're like somewhat deep in the hobby. eBay or, you know, Walmart, Targets, maybe GameStop is more where like uneducated consumers would go, right? Like, and eBay is even like a step up, but like more of a retail space where usually you can find products less still than what they are on Pokemon Center. So I don't know if I buy that people are going to Pokemon Center and paying full MSRP price when the products are everywhere else out there just because they're uneducated, right? And so it does seem that Pokemon is changing the way they do business is what I would say. And what I mean by that is we're seeing more and more product dumps. We're seeing, you know, 151 UPCs just randomly show up at Costco's all across the country when all the distributors are 100% out and no stores can actually order them, right? We're seeing 151 booster bundles continuously be dropped on either Walmart or PokemonCenter.com in waves, right? They'll come out with waves, they'll sell out, and then a few days later, they'll show up again, another wave, and they'll sell out. And it does seem like they're trying to create this scarcity to where people feel like they have to jump on and buy immediately, because if they don't, they're going to be gone again, instead of just leaving them in stock for as much inventory as they have. So, you know, an example would be they have, you know, 10,000 in inventory. They'll put up like 500, let that 500 sell out, let everyone, all the juices start flowing, and like a few days later, put another 500. And this way they're able to continue to keep people buying immediately, keep the prices high, and keep that like that scarce mindset that like there's never going to be enough, right? You know, it's almost like if the grocery store only put out food for a few hours a day. You'd have mobs at the front door like trying to push and shove and get in and get their one can of beans and just like go home and eat that day. And then all of a sudden by like, you know, noon, all the food's gone. And everyone's freaking out and they're like, oh my gosh, next time food comes, I'm loading up, I'm buying $1,000 for the groceries. And it does seem like Pokemon's starting to experiment with things like that to keep people on their toes and ready to spend large amounts of money every time they release something in fear that it's going to be gone in the future, as opposed to how it used to be where things were just left in stock until like the open market hit MSRP and then people started buying at Pokemon Center, or, you know, distributors always had product available where stores could always just go back and buy more and have it in stock, whereas even distributors don't have a lot of the newer product available for stores to buy, and so stores feel like they're not going to get any more products, so they have to have that scarcity mindset of like raising prices higher than they should or holding on to some because they want to make sure they have product on the shelves, and it's creating this different market. And obviously, Pokemon knows what they're doing. I have no opinion one way or the other. It's obviously working. I don't know if it's the healthiest style of market, but this conspiracy theory of Pokemon doing this on purpose, I would say it's on the valid side. It's another one of those, don't sue me Pokemon. Can't prove they're doing anything like this, but it does seem that way. So I do lean on the valid side and much less on the nonsense side. But yeah, that's what's going on. So that's another conspiracy theory people have been talking about. All right, the last conspiracy theory does go back to another grading play. And so Beckett Grading Company, right? This is conspiracy theory number 6, the last one. A lot of people say that it is a pay-to-play company. And so let me tell you what I'm talking about. When you send in cards to grade, you have the assumption that it doesn't matter which grading tier you send at with Beckett, it just has to do with how long you're willing to wait for your cards. If you send them in bulk, you're willing to wait, 2 to 3 months, whatever they say, how many business days. If you send them express, that's when you want them back immediately in whatever, 5 business days, right? And so that's really the only reason you would pick each individual tier is based off how fast you want your cards graded and sent back to you. However, people have been experimenting, and I've got multiple people that have reached out, told me the same exact story and the same exact success stories of trying out these new things. And one of the things they have been telling me is that Beckett seems to be a pay-to-play organization to where if you do send your cards at the highest level, the Super Express, whatever it's called, I think it's like $120 to grade a card instead of the bulk rate of, what, 15 or 20, their black label rates have actually risen. And they're literally the same cards that they would send in at the bulk rate, get 9.5s, some pristine 10s, they would crack them, send all the exact same cards back in at the highest tier, and magically they'll start coming back as black labels. Now, I haven't graded much with Beckett. I've graded with PSA for years and years. As far as I can tell, I've graded with all different levels with PSA, and I've never got preferential treatment depending on how much I paid, whether it be bulk or the, you know, $20 tier, $40 tier, $50 tier, $75 tier. It's always been relatively the same gem rates no matter where I send it. Now, PSA does some other stuff like, you know, based on the value of your cards, you have to up the tiers based on, you know, where they fall in the value. And if you don't do that, they will upcharge you. But Beckett doesn't have any such thing. It's literally just based on, well, one, if you want subgrades, you get upcharged a little bit, like a few dollars on the bulk. Other than that, though, it's all based on how fast you want your cards back. Do you want them done in, you know, let's say 60 business days, 30 business days, 10 business days, 5 business days? And that is supposed to be the only thing you're paying for is the faster grading. However, it does seem many people have had a lot of success multiple times. This isn't like one-off scenarios. This isn't one person. I've had multiple people all show me multiple submissions, and their black label rates have consistently went up when paying the highest dollar fee, the Super Express or whatever Beckett calls it. And so, again, nothing that can be proven. Beckett, don't sue me. Can't prove it. It's still just a conspiracy theory. Me, myself, if I had to, you know, pick a side, I'm leaning on the valid side. Maybe I'm just more likely to believe conspiracy theories, but everything I've seen personally so far from others, I'm leaning on the valid side and not on the nonsense side. And so I do believe this might be something that's going on at Beckett. It's becoming a little more pay to play to get the black labels. And, well, you're only going to pay us bulk rate. Maybe we don't give you as many bulk labels. Maybe you don't deserve it. And so that's it, guys. That's going to be the first episode of Conspiracy Theories. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and I'll do like other parts in the future. And if not, you know, we don't have to do any more of it. I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of this stuff that's always circulating out there and being discussed all over social media. It's kind of fun. I'm always into like conspiracy theory type stuff. But let's recap, right? First up, conspiracy theory number 1, the first print, right? The first printing, it has better pull rates than the print runs thereafter. I 100% believe this. I think this is 100% valid from my own experience. Conspiracy theory number 2. Different products are better to open. They have better pull rates than other products. I think this is absolute nonsense. I think it's all about batching, and if you get lucky enough to take that secondary gamble and you get the right batch of products, I think you can do better than a booster box. If you don't get it right, you're going to do worse. I think it all kind of averages out. I think if you want the most guaranteed rates, I think a booster box is still going to be the way to go. Conspiracy theory number 3 is going to be population control at PSA. PSA is purposely grading your vintage, mid-era, high-end cards harder than they used to, and even harder than like the other cards that come out like modern and things. And again, I think this is close to being valid. You can't prove it, but that is conspiracy theory number 4. Number 3, conspiracy theory number 4 is that Pokemon, I believe it's number 4, right? Or is number 4? I think number 4 was the PSA jersey to Cali, right? Okay, so PSA getting sent to the New Jersey PSA grading facility over the California grading facility. It's graded harsher at New Jersey, and everyone has been seeing lower gem rates. And so this one, again, I've experienced firsthand, and I've seen enough data where I think this is valid. Can't prove it again, but I think this is one of the more valid conspiracy theories out there. Conspiracy theory number 5 is going to be that Pokemon is creating artificial scarcity in the market to continue to keep people in that buying mentality and that kind of like mob mentality every time something's released to all rush in, buy it as soon as possible, have it sold out, and then do the same thing again and again and again instead of just leaving everything in stock. This looks more and more valid as time goes on. Can't prove it, but it does look like a more valid conspiracy theory. And conspiracy theory number 6 is going to be Beckett being a pay-to-play organization, which again, seen some evidence, no way to know. I'm leaning on the valid side, but hey, who knows? I only said one of these is nonsense, so maybe I just lean on the more conspiratorial side, but that's how I feel. Let me know how you guys feel about all these in the comment section if you like this kind of video, and I will be back here in a new one soon. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet. I'm out.